Hola, chamos y chamos. Welcome back to Alvaro Dev Labs. Today is a new format. We are premiering this new section called Pair Programming and today I have the honor of having Jacob as a guest in the show, just to do a pair programming session. Let me know if it's something that you like in the comments because it's totally new, but I'm really happy to have you here today, Jacob. How are you?
Thanks. First of all, thanks very much for having me here. Really glad to be part of this, especially first video. Yeah, so the idea sounded really well from the very beginning to just do a programming session together. So really looking forward to what we will be doing, what we will be building today.
Me too, me too. When we were doing these tweets about the release candidate on Nuxt last week, and suddenly we say, yeah, this weekend I'm gonna dedicate myself to just play around with the release candidate. Yeah, yeah, me too. Man, we should record it together. Okay,
That was
let's do
fast.
it. That was all you need.
I think even
um,
Kisu, the Constantine, he mentioned that, guys, you just said that it would be good to record the video, and now you have already recorded the video. So
Hey, if you wanna come next, Akizu, let me know. We can arrange something. Also, it will be amazing to do one, the three of us. Who knows? Let's see how the format goes. Um, from my side, well, you already know me, but I want to give the mic to Jacob so he can present himself. I don't think anyone in my channel will not already know him, but just in case, yeah, just present yourself and
sure,
what are you
sure,
doing
thanks.
right now?
Yeah, so on the daily basis, I'm working in the company called View Storefront, where we are building the open source e-commerce framework for that allows you to very easily generate different storefronts based on the e-commerce platform that we are using. And as the name suggests, we are using Vue.js, and in our latest version, we are also using the Nuxt 2 version with
Okay.
several modules, several additions. So basically, I'm working on that. And apart from that, I'm also doing some open source stuff like the Nuxt.js Storyblok as well. Recently also Algolia. So we'll probably be talking about it a bit more during the video.
Nice. Yeah, I actually was really excited to see like when you created the Discord and you were doing a lot of new stuff with the modules. It got really interesting. Like, no, every week this is a Golia one, this is a new one. So it was quite cool. Um, yeah, and can you tell the audience also, because probably they're interested, like a little bit your background on open source, because we are here because of the open source actually. So yeah.
So basically, the first time I heard about Vue Storefront and the idea of open source, like projects when you are creating them and the community can use them, community can modify it, can make it even better. This is the first time I heard about the concept of open source, and immediately I fell in love with it because this is basically what I really like to do, and I like the way of creating content and the code that people from around the world can just contribute. This is exactly what has happened during what you mentioned about the Nuxt modules. I created this idea of creating like open source modules with the people around the world, and just there were random people appearing out of nowhere just saying, hey, this is cool idea, can I help? Or I have this crazy idea, what do you think about it? So this way of mm working with people from just all regions around the world, or parts of the world, is just what I feel that makes open source really great stuff. So
Man, I totally agree. Well, the proof is here. Doing it from Barcelona, and you're doing it
Poland, yeah. So
from Poland. So
we are probably in the similar time zone, but still quite far away from each other.
that's about right. Man, I'm going crazy about the release candidate. Let's just talk about it. Because as you might know, the Nuxt 3 version took some time, but the amount of new features, on changes, on the developer experience, how the team improve it, the whole framework. Of course, we're talking about the open source. Even though there is a sponsoring, it takes a lot of time and especially free time for people. There are some people that dedicate their life entirely to open source, but we need to consider that most of the people does it in the free time. So the amount of things in this Nox release candidate is crazy. We had an official announcement here. What do you think about it? Let's just chat a little bit about it here. Here's the team: Sebastian, Puya, Daniel, Alexandre, Clement, between a lot of more. What are you most excited about, Jacob? That's the first question. Like, what's
Yes, so first of all, I would like to comment on the fact that the release, as we all know, was postponed due to several new features and the issues that also came with them. But finally, as you mentioned, we have it, and I'm really glad that it's there because it really changes the game. Because the beta version that we get used to it for a few months already, it was delivering a lot of really nice features, but at the same time it was not stable. So each version you might have some breaking change. So right now with the release of the RC version, we can be much more sure that it is a stable version. So there won't be that big breaking changes. So answering to your question, what I'm hyped the most from this stable version is for sure the SSG, so the static site generation, because this is the feature that was requested for some time already. So yeah, having the static site, like having your website statically generated is something what can really improve the performance of it. So finally we have it, and I can share a glimpse of what we will be doing today, what we'll be building today. It will be related to that as well. And what are yours favorite
um
things?
my favorite thing? Well, first is that it's using Vite as the default builder. I had nothing against Webpack, but since I have been using Vite, I'm a really more happy developer in general. Developer experience, how fast it is, how easy it is to integrate stuff. So it, for me, felt like a nice bet to go with Vite. Of course, don't get me wrong, Webpack is still supported. It's just a different package here. You need to put it in the config like you are gonna build with Webpack. The default one is now Vite. Of course, being able to use Vue 3 and TypeScript from the start is just amazing, and how it works perfectly right away. To be fair, the static site generation is something that I have been requesting in all the forums, like asking, "Hey, but what about SSG?" And I think like Puya and Daniela already hate me because I put so many comments.
They put you on
So
the special list of the people who are not answering.
this guy doesn't. No, just kidding. Like Daniel support me a lot when I was asking for stuff, but now we're gonna try it today, and it's involving Nitro. What do you think about Nitro? Like, I'm not an expert, but it feels like one of the major features here.
So for sure it's a big change because previously the Nuxt was based on Node.js, and it was also supporting Express as a middleware. This time Nuxt is going like fully into the Nitro, which is the new engine. You can, by the way, check it out in the Andrzejewski repository. I think it's called the Nitro pack. And yeah, so basically the idea of having this web server that allows for very easy integration with popular hosting providers like Netlify, Vercel, Layer 0, and probably some more that I don't remember. It's quite interesting and quite useful. I haven't had that much time to test it out. I tried Netlify and it was working quite well. So I suppose in the upcoming days I will also have time to try other providers and see how Nitro works under the hood. But
Maybe we
idea
can
sounds really
risk
good.
it. Maybe we can risk it today and use Vercel, for example, to try it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good. Well, but there is a lot more. If you want to check everything that is new in the release candidate, please check this announcement. And I also think somewhere here there is the links for the Discord. And if you really want to know all the breaking changes, there is a discussion in the GitHub repository that is really interesting and really good to know, because there are several breaking changes during the beta stage. And if you haven't updated in a while, please do so, because it's probably going to fail. So you need to update Quest stuff. What do you think, Jacob, if we go ahead and we try to create a new Nuxt application?
Sure, sure. Do you already have an idea of what we could build? Like,
no, but I guess you have a really good one.
Okay, so my idea was to reproduce or to clone the Nuxt modules page. Yeah, this one. Maybe not exactly the same, because this page is quite advanced. We could try to show or display the list of the modules that you can already choose for the Nuxt free, because there is already few of them. We won't be trying all of them in this video because it will take, I don't know, 12 hours or so. But we'll try few of them. So for sure we'll be using Nuxt free because this is why we came here for. And we'll be using the Tailwind CSS for styling.
Okay.
And we'll be using Storyblok because we both are the Storyblok ambassadors. So that's the reason. No, we really like the experience with Storyblok, so that's why we have chosen it to create such a page. And by doing so, we'll be able to connect the external content management system, Storyblok, to Nuxt free and see how it works. And of course, we'll be using the SSG of the new RC version of Nuxt free.
That sounds brilliant. Like, I'm super excited. Of course, we already discussed it before, like what we wanted to do, but it's like, okay, we need to do something amazing.
Let's create this suspense.
Let's do it. So I'm gonna go here and just copy and paste this little command here with this npx nuxt init. This one is gonna allow us to create a new Nuxt tree project. So let's clear this here. I hope it is the right size. Now I'm going to increase it a little bit, and I'm going to create a new. So because developers are really good naming things and spending hours naming a variable, I'm just gonna call it Nuxt modules clone.
Ta-da!
Amazing, I know.
Thank God
Nice.
it's not the code review or the pull request, because then it would take 3 hours to just talk about the naming of the project.
Right? Like lately, all my pull requests are like, okay, should we name this a function? The rest is correct. Like, all the algorithms are good, everything is well thought, but it's like, should we name this like this? This is the correct spelling.
There is this meme where you have this 2 pull requests. One has 1 file and 5 changes, and the second one has 50 files and, I don't know, 5,000 changes. And the first one has like 20 comments, and the second one has 1 comment where it just says, seems fine to me, you can merge it. And the first one is like, I would change the name of this variable, I would change the order, I would import it in a different file, and so on and so on. So it's usually what we do.
Nah, I do it myself. Sorry that I got distracted. For some reason, it's not opening the new one. So probably I will need to open it manually. You know,
I think it's already opened, maybe.
Here.
In the one below, or is it not?
No, it's weird. For some reason, it's not working. Like, it should be the clone one, but I will open it from here. For some reason it didn't work, so let's just do it like this. GitHub, this one here. Okay, now we have it, a fresh new Nuxt 3 app. Of course, whenever you install it, make sure that here you have the correct dependency. It's no longer Nuxt 3, it's Nuxt, and you need to put 3.0.0 on the moment of this recording is using the release candidate one. Okay, the rest is just like any other Nuxt application. So let's start tweaking this one here. Probably we want to change the Nuxt welcome. Let's just install things with Yarn first.
You can also try to run the project and see if it works.
Yeah, that's a safe bet.
By our previous experience, it's always better to just test whether the things that should work by default, whether they're working.
Maybe we can create some bloopers from before.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Okay, we can open this one here, see if it works. We have this brand new intro loading page, and here we have our next welcome. So it seems that it's working. Perfect. Here probably we can...
And what do you think, before we do some changes, what do you think if we could try the SSG right now? So the generation of the static site, some adding to the Nuxt config, and see if it works and how it works basically.
Okay, sounds like an amazing idea. How
Okay.
do we do SSH?
So we do it by just in our nuxtconfig.ts. We have like in nuxtconfig we have several properties that we can configure our project. So in Nuxt 2 it was mainly using the target static, for example. In Nuxt 3 we use it in a different way because we have this property called SSR. And we have to set it to false because by default Nuxt 3 is like the server side rendered. So when we choose the SSR false, right now what we could do is we can save the file because without it it won't work. And in the terminal we can generate the project by using one of the provided the commands generated by the Nuxt CLI. So if you go to package.json, yeah, this one will be generate. So if we go yarn generate, it should create the static HTML pages out of the components we have here. And yeah, so it says you can now deploy output public to anesthetic hosting. So if we inspect the .output folder on the left, it should show us the public. Yeah, so we have some HTML files here. So basically, if we serve them from the CDN, like Netlify, Vercel, or whatever, we'll have these statically generated websites. So the HTML only, HTML and CSS as well. Yeah. So if you try now the public one.
By the way, if you want to serve things locally, I always use this npm package. It's called serve. It's really nice. It's global install and allows you to quickly create a HTTP server. And because 5K is in use, I don't know why it's in use, it's going to create a new now. So here there is our SSG. I say SSH before. It wasn't correct. It's static site generation. SSG.
Exactly.
Okay. So here, if we go to the network tab, and we refresh, we're gonna see that index HTML file. Of course, I have a
but I think you have some filters, yeah.
Yeah, here it is. Server-side rendering should be false here. Okay. For those that doesn't know what static site generation is, basically, it's gonna create a pre-rendering of all the HTML files on the routed base. And then it's going to generate, correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to generate it on build time. uh, your
Yeah,
application,
it
right?
will generate the static files. So by using that, we won't be forcing the, for example, the Node.js server or the Nitro
Hmm.
to build the application and hydrate it. We'll be just serving the static content, so static HTML. So we will just generate the content. So for example, if we will be using the content management system, we could
Hmm.
fetch the data and populate the page with it already. So without needing for additional hydration or additional requests.
This is amazing, like because I remember the times that you'd have the whole server, like this whole monolith, doing stuff. On before that, uploading things with FTP. So you uploaded your index, your CSS, and so on. It has been evolved like crazy until now, and you can see my age when I'm talking about FTP and FileZilla stuff. Commenting the Put in the comments if you are also from that age, medieval age.
Yeah. By the way, if you this is a side story.
Hmm.
If you don't have an application working on port 5000, it's because of the Mac OS system. Because I experienced the same in some, I don't know, two recent versions of, or the version, I don't know, the last version, the one or the one previously released
Uh-huh.
than the last one. The Mac, like Apple, decided to create some kind of a service that is related to Bluetooth devices or something like that, and they are
Okay.
using the port 5000 by default.
That's why the
So
reason it doesn't let me.
yeah,
Okay.
so if you don't have an application running on this port, it means that it is occupied by the Apple service on your Mac OS.
I didn't know that. But
Yeah.
I was thinking I have another project running by in the 5000. I normally change them. Uh,
It happened to me as well because I thought, okay, something must be running, but it wasn't. And I started looking through the internet and I saw that, yeah, they added a service with a port that many applications are using. Like maybe not all, but many applications, but some applications built on Vite. And I think that Svelte is using the port 5000 by default. So by this release, it made all Svelte projects failing. Like you won't be able to go to the application to the localhost 5000.
that's as clever as putting the connector for the charger in your mouse in the part below. It's as
Yeah,
clever as this.
this is it's like great example of UI versus UX. UI is good, UX not so much. Yeah, so side story. If you
Now,
are experiencing it, you can just input into Google why in Mac port 5000 doesn't work. You will see the I think it was the Reddit subreddit section. Yeah, so the next step would be to add our styling. So we can do it in many different ways. The easiest one in Nuxt 3 is to just use the official module from Nuxt and Nuxt Tailwind. And the installation is relatively simple. You only need one line of code from the terminal, which is this one. And so we will install it in our project, and then we will be just registering. And this is really nice developer experience by using this module, because by using it, it will automatically create the Tailwind config.js file for you, and it will also automatically adjust this post CSS auto prefixer stuff that you were usually doing to make it work. So in this case, what we will do, we'll go to nuxtconfig.ts file,
Mm-hmm.
and inside of it, we will just need to register a new module. In this case,
Okay.
Nuxt.js Tailwind. So yeah.
So
And
it's gonna be not like this one, Axis, but Tailwind.
Tailwind. I think it's Tailwind CSS, and that
Well,
should
I
be
don't
it.
have the auto prefixer, but it should be it, right? Do we need to
Yeah, because it does it under the hood. So we are just importing the module, and we can test that out. So you can stop the project and add some styling to app.view.
Okay, so
So we
maybe
can create some, like margin bottom or
this is
and
my
see.
favorite new thing is like the border, the CSS border 1 pixel red, but I do it with Tailwind CSS every time I do it. I put it on this, and maybe we need to take out the Nuxt welcome to see if it works. So where is our local? Okay, here. Yeah, a wee and a red background. So it is working. Maybe I can set up like this so we can have both at the same time. I'm gonna reduce this.
Yeah, by the
here.
way, there is a great tip I got from Scott Spence.
Yeah.
I think his Twitter is at Spence10, and he told me that you can set the autosave of your VS Code files, like files of your repository that are of your folder that are open in VS Code. So we can set the autosave to like, I don't know, 0.5 second, and then because of how Vite is working, like it's super fast in rebuilding your project. If you set this autosave, you will have this like instant changes on the page while you are coding. You can try
put
some
it here after delay, right?
Yeah, we can even try it right now.
Okay.
So after a second, it should be fine. We can see if you add some styling to it, like, I don't know, border.
Yeah,
so you can immediately see the result in the browser. Really great
nice
stuff.
Yeah, I haven't used it normally, but it feels good actually. I'm gonna try it from now on. And also I have something here. Preview, next step, in external browser. Okay, nice.
The only issue with that is that if you are working on several projects where some of them use Vite and others don't, this is an issue. Because the app with Vite will work, but your app with, I don't know, Webpack, which takes 30 seconds to rebuild, not so much. So this is a tip for Vite.
And that's why you need to use Vite instead of Webpack.
Yeah, that's a cool note. Yes, so we have the first step configured, so we have the Tailwind. So the next step would be actually to have the, I don't know, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer to go for the Tailwind components or the elements or the Storyblok right now?
Actually, we can go for the Storyblok to see more or less to the audience like how we structure the modules and how we're gonna request them from our application. We need to warn that right now we are not using the official one for the Storyblok. It had some issues in the beta part of Nuxt 3 until it was stable. So I guess we need to have a little bit more time for the Storyblok team to be able to update it to the new release candidates. So for now, we are going to do it through a plugin because one of the nicest things about Nuxt is not only that you can create modules to extend the functionality of your Nuxt application, but you can easily insert any other type of plugin or vendor or third-party JavaScript library really easy into your code. So we are going to use plugin today to do so. Let's install it first. So I'm gonna look for it. So Storyblok view directly here.
Yeah, and as a side note, it's still an official like Storyblok plugin, but we will be using the Vue, like the plugin for Vue.js applications inside of Nuxt, because as Alvaro mentioned, there are still some issues after the release candidate of Nuxt 3 in the Nuxt module for Storyblok. But we expect it to be working in a few days or so. But for this video, we'll focus on the Vue part, Vue plugin. It works the same way. So
probably when people check this video, maybe it's already fixed, so you can do it with the Nuxt module directly. But also, it's good that if you have a Vue project that is not using Nuxt, you also can do it here. And that way, also we show how plugins are working. I have a video on the channel about plugins and modules, but let's refresh it here in case you want to see it again. So to do that, actually we need a folder, right? So we need a folder called plugins, and inside of that one, I'm just going to have a storyblok.ts. I'm gonna take out this, so we need to import here a Storyblok view, because we are gonna use the extension here, and the plugin here from Storyblok view, that's fine. And we need to export the fold define Nuxt plugin. Define Nuxt plugin, like this one. And this is gonna be a function that is gonna return our Nuxt application instance. And between that one, we can, for now, extend it. So it's gonna be Nuxt app.view app, I think. Yeah, and use. So this is like basically when you have your view application and you do app.use and you install any third party, this is the same thing. So we are gonna pass this here, and we have some options that we need to pass. We will need an access token. We're gonna see it in a moment in our dashboard. And also we can pass a use here that is going to use the API plugin, okay? If you have any doubts about this configuration, you can go here. It's basically this one, but in a Nuxt plugin, okay? And we don't have to import it anywhere because it's gonna be auto-imported right away if this is here in the plugins, okay? So now I think it's a good time to go to here. Here. So of course, to not make this video eternal, we already created a space called Nuxt modules clone, and between, let's go to the homepage. We have in the content we have a homepage, and we have a folder with modules, and right now we have 2 modules created. We're gonna create another one just for demo purposes, but we have a view use and Pinia, and what we actually needed was this here, right? The API key. So for this tutorial, we are not taking care of security at all. So we are showing the access token, but for your professional, your personal projects, please try to not share it because it can create problems, right? And the best way of doing that is here in your editor. You can create an environment file. Actually, it's .env, right?
.env. Mm-hmm.
And we can create it here. So it's gonna be a Storyblok token, I think it was, and equal to this.
I think it's an access token. You can check in the storyblok.ts in the plugin.
So it's access token, but we call it
okay.
a Storyblok token.
Sorry.
So process M. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. So that should be it. How do we test if this works, right? So maybe we can go here to the app.view. We have it running still. Let's. To the environment to work, we need to restart it actually. Oh, we have a Tailwind viewer here. So for some reason it's complaining about not resolving access. So yeah, that is easy to resolve. So we can yarn add access here. Okay, maybe something that it can be improved when it's starting the Storyblok view. Let's see. Yarn dev again without uppercase. I'm curious about this one.
It's like a Tailwind viewer when you have this configuration of the themes, like variants and so on and so on. But I think it has a different route.
Yeah, I have a different route.
If I'm wrong.
So reading cannot read properties of undefined. Reading a Storyblok token.
Okay, so it seems like it doesn't read the process env properly.
Okay. So maybe we need to use runtime, I think, to make it work. So in the Nuxt config, this is a good trick every time you want to do use environments variables. So you go here and you create something as runtime config. And before there was two different properties. There was the public one and the private one. And
Private.
now private, not even. I was so far from it. Sorry, English is not my native. So runtime config, and I have public here. And let's just create an API token, maybe. API token. And this one is going to be processed like this. So what we need then in a Storyblok is just use this.
I think maybe you can check the spelling of Storyblok token. It doesn't seem to be an issue, but whether it's the same as the one in Env.
Yeah,
So
it is.
It seems to be the same.
Yeah, but here we will need to copy and paste this line here for the config. So it's going to be use runtime config. It's a method and it's going to return the public configuration. And here we are just going to do API token. Let's restart to see if it works.
Let's see if it works.
Okay, here. Okay, here it is. Here. Okay, so the app.view, we can see that the Tailwind one is it is working because we have the background blue 500 and it's showing the color right away, right? So let's remove that one that we used before, and now let's try it if the Storyblok works, right? Let's try to get the modules. So in the script tag, I'm gonna use setup and length, yes, maybe. What's your preference? I saw a trend before that they are using the script before that the template, because normally you see template, script, and status. But what is your preference?
So I get used to the approach where there is a template is first one. So template, script, and styles. However, notice that even Evan Hu and the Vue.js docs, they are switching into this approach where the script is the first one. And actually, if we can try something out here, if you open a terminal window and use the, it will be a shameless plug because we will be showing a feature that I implemented for Nuxt.
Okay.
So if you open a new, a new window here, and you will type npx npx nuxc add, and let's say the footer or the header.
Like this?
Add. No, add. ADD, like add something to something.
Okay. Not as, add. Okay. Like
yeah, and can be the header or the header without the hyphen, whichever you prefer.
Okay.
And if you press enter, it should.
Because we need.
Okay, because you have to
component. Right?
Yeah, because you have to create a template.
So this is like a scaffolding tool that was added.
Yeah, it's the scaffolding tool that allows you to generate new components, pages, layouts, and so on. So in here you can see that I talked about it with PL. That the approved or recommended way right now is to have the script at the first line. The reasoning, sometimes you have the variables or the some kind of properties or reactive values that you are defining in the script and then using it in the template.
Okay.
So by having it this way, we will have the registration or initialization of the variables, and then we are using it in the template. Because if we could do it other way around, we would have the values, and while reading the file, like by the developers and users, we would have the variables that we don't know the value of. So at least this is the official recommendation, which seems fine to me.
Since I'm using it, it's easier for me to declare them first and then using in the template, and not the other way around. But there is people that still prefer the other one. I guess, hey, it's up to you. Like, how do you enjoy more the code?
But when you asked it, I wanted to show that as well, because this is like the recommended approach for Vue components right now. As you mentioned, it's not like you have to go this way. It's just a matter of preference.
No, but I really like it, and amazing job by the scaffolding tool. I'm going to use it more often. I didn't remember it was here, but this improves a lot the developer experience, and it's something that I come from Angular from a long time ago, from AngularJS, then Angular 2. It was in the beginning of my career. And I remember they have a really nice structure of scaffolding. So they have like a lot of commands that they could use to create components, modules, services, etc. So this is really cool to do. We have here the header structure. Maybe we can even style it. We're gonna do a little bit of cheat here, and because of the time matter and because the scope of the tutorial is to use Nuxt 3 and not the styling. We're gonna use this here. Perfect. Show code. Something like this. A button with toggle navigation. There is any of them that has like a logo, or it's just with the menu? Bah.
I think it's only with the menu, so it will probably open some kind of navigation if you click on the hamburger.
Yeah. Well, we can use this one. So here, header, Jumbotron, okay. Let's see how it looks here. So
I think we also have to include it in the app.
So here, the header. So if I use it like this, it would automatically know that I'm using the header. So nice. We copied too much code, a part of the header, right? Like this part.
I think there is also some so headings and buttons.
Okay, this is like a jump button.
But you get the idea. You can get the components from the. There are two websites that I have found regarding the Tailwind components. First one is actually Tailwind components, and the second one is the one that Alvaro showed. So Tailwind elements. They both show you how you can very easily create new elements, new styled elements with Tailwind. So really nice if you are looking for some kind of inspiration on how to create elements with Tailwind.
And here there is everything. You can do it by installing it because they have here a quick start, so you can actually install the components directly. But what we're gonna do is probably like copy and paste this here. But even for the navigation, I think it's easy enough. So we can use like a big website. We can inside of it the container, probably MX Auto. We can use a shadow LG, and here we can add an anchor tag with Nuxt modules title. Okay, let's see how it looks. Maybe terrible. Yeah, terrible. Shadow log, no. Shadow LG, perfect. We need some padding. I always love it, like how easy it was to prototype with this. With Tailwind, you see how fast we can enter something here. And if we want to do it really similar to the Nuxt module one, let's see if we can steal this SVG. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna steal it like this. And we can put it on public here as a static. Logo, SVG, like this, and in the app.view, not the header, we can image this class h4 maybe, and with 4, and the source. So the good thing about Nuxt is and Byte is that we can just put logo like this. I don't know if it needs the slash or not. Okay, that's nice. So maybe we can put a flex here. Like this. Maybe it's too small, right?
I would go for 8 or even more.
And maybe we can use some margin like this. And yeah, well, it's enough. Like we can use item center, I guess. Yeah, it's fair enough, right? We can work with this. Okay, so in the app.view, because we are going to imitate this Nuxt modules one here. So we are not going to do the hero, but we are going to create the cards, right? So we need like something like a grid here. Before this, just grid. Okay. And yeah, let's leave it there. We want to get the content, right? So we have here in the modules, we have a view use, okay, that has the SVG already. And for some reason it changed the color of my screen, but I don't know why. Okay, fine. We can create a new one actually, create entry. So tell me one module that you want to create here.
I think you know which one. I would go for Algolia.
Okay, Algolia.
Because this is the module I created. And I definitely recommend you to try it out. It's not only about the integration with the Algolia search, it also provides the support for view instant search. So if you want to have this well-styled and Algolia like search inputs, they are you just have to set one variable to true in the configuration of the Algolia module for Nuxt, and it will work like a charm.
It will work right away. Yeah.
And also in this week we'll be also releasing the support for doc search, which is this. If you ever visited Nuxt.js documentation or Vue.js documentation and you input something in the search field, you will see this kind of a Algolia search input search bar. So basically we'll be having this kind of support for the doc search in the upcoming release.
Oh, here, like search by Algolia. Yeah, I have seen it a lot. I haven't implemented it though. Maybe it's something that we can do in a future video. Try to integrate the module. That will be really cool to do. Okay, name Algolia. Description.
You can go for algolia.nuxt because this is a different package that is outdated right now.
Okay.
You can go for algolia. The third one. This is the repository.
This one.
GitHub repository. The third one exactly. And there is also
here.
a docs here on the right, and the about section. You have the Algolia module and the official docs that you can use. So we can input this link into the Storyblok.
Okay, awesome. So we can use it here as a URL, and for the description, I'm just gonna copy and paste this one here. So we have another one, we save and we publish. Okay, nice. So we now have 3. Let's see if it's inside modules. So yeah, perfect. We have 3 of them. This one also we need to publish it. Cool. Okay. So where do we stay before? We already added or
I think now we have to add token. In the app.view, this file, we have to add the option to fetch the data from Storyblok. So actually import the Storyblok API and do some fetching.
Okay. So we can go here to the documentation, and we are going to use the long form, because we're gonna retrieve all the stories from there. So we need to use this one here. Let's copy and paste it to our script here. Okay, and here instead of home, we're gonna use stories. And to get all the stories, because if we do this and then here in the grid, I'm just going to create a pre tag and put the data here. Let's see what is there. So as you can see, there is an object with all the stories, but this is also going to include stories that are outside, like all the stories that you have, including a page. Because we had two different, when we were doing the module, we created two different content types. We created the page one, which is our home page, and then we have a module. Okay, that is the one content type for all the modules. So we probably need to filter that. There is two ways you can use a computed property here and filter by content type, but we are going to do it in a different way. We are going to use a filter that is starts with, I think it was, and here we are going to put modules, I think, yes. That's about right. So now we have Algolia, we have view use, and we have Piña, but we don't have home. Perfect. Since it's an object, probably we want to have it in an array. So best moment to use a computed property. Okay. And now if we use modules here, we have our modules in an array. Perfect. Let's remove this here. And now, maybe we can create the grid items, right? So we planned to, how do you want to do it? You prefer to create a new component called card, and we create the, it will be better, right?
I think I would go for that. We can just create a component and like content card or module card or whatever. And
I really wanted an excuse to use this command again, sorry.
Very good, very good. Use it as much as you can.
Okay, module card.
Yeah, so in here I would go for one of the cards that are available here. So I think the one that looks the most similar is probably this one, yeah, because it has the title, there's some kind of an image and description, so we can input some links here.
Okay, maybe we can change the image for something else more small, because probably it's going to stretch it, but this one looks good. Let's use it. So here we just copy paste. I had to say it's really more comfortable. You don't have to remember all of them, and also the thing is that it comes with the media query stuff. That's cool. So here let's create some props. Define props, I think it was. Yeah. So we want to pass the title, which is a string. I love Git Copilot. It makes my life so easy.
Yeah, I see. It's amazing stuff when it just recommends you the stuff that you really need at this point. Exactly like this prop types.
Okay, so let's put some defaults. We are gonna have pass the icon also. So yeah, nice. And the link, which is also nice.
The link.
Well, yeah. The link we could actually pass it as an object, right? Because we will have the alt, like in all the CMSs, you will normally have an object that gives you the URL, but also the target, or all this kind of things. So maybe we can do it like this.
Yeah, the SEO stuff. So alt, sometimes the other language name for the file, and so on and so on.
Also true. So here we use title. Here we use description, and this one we are not gonna use it. And something that we could do is, because this one is the wrapper, right? Let me use some indentation to correct it. Maybe we can do this and just create an href that goes to our link dot URL. I don't remember how it's Storyblok does it.
I think it's the URL, but you can check it in the response.
Okay.
You can probably check it in the network if you refresh the page. Yeah, stories.
Preview, so stories. We have content. We have icon URL.
Icon.
Icon.
I think it's the icon instead.
No, but we were
icon and the file name.
But we were using the link, right? We wanted to use the link. Like there is a property that we created, if I don't remember badly. So we have a
yeah, but we have two. One for the URL and the second one for the asset. And the asset is icon.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So that's this way.
And also here in the image, we probably, let's remove this configuration here. We don't need it. Configuration class. And let's put a class like also 12 maybe, height 12, object fit. And as a source, we are gonna pass the, yeah, we need an asset, right? So media. No, the icon.
I think you could just go for the icon and we'll, from the parent component, we'll pass it the right way. So that we'll always have the string instead of an object, or whatever you prefer.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we were doing it the right way, you need also the alt for accessibility and stuff. But it's up to you, like.
Yeah, so we can go for the object and extract it from the object, or create two separate properties, one for the image URL and the second one for the
alt, right? Yeah, sometimes I have that debate. Like, you should create many granular properties, or you can pass objects. But my rule of thumb is like if an object it has to nest it. It's only one level. I only pass one level of object. If it's more than that, then I'm not doing my component in the correct way. So here icon, and I'll see what's URL, right?
I think it was the file name.
No, file name. You're totally right, and we have the alt here. So yeah, file name, and as a property,
icon alt.
Okay, cool. Let's use it and see if we can actually see something, right? We can fix it later. So here it's gonna be module card, and we need to do a before modules in modules. Okay, but we are not passing the module like this. We're doing more granular. So we are passing the module name as the title. We have the description, which is module. Actually, I normally do it like this. Name here, I use the construct here. So that way I don't have to write that many times. Description here. We had the icon, link, right?
And link, yeah.
Yeah, so icon. Or even more, wait, something easier.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy today. so we can do this. So whenever you use vvine, basically all the properties that you have here is gonna be passed as props. Okay, let's refresh. We had something. So what do we need right now? We probably need some padding here, and also in a container, MX Auto, yeah, and some padding maybe. And also we need to define in the grid how many columns do we have. So let's use 3 maybe. Okay, That's better. Also, the image is not working. So best way of checking why it's not working, let's use our view DevTools with Nuxt. I saw something in the roadmap, but I don't know what it was about. Like some special DevTools for Nuxt, something like that.
Nuxt DevTools, but I'm not really sure
It's gonna work, right?
how they will work. Whether they are similar to Vue DevTools or not sure exactly.
Okay, seems like the icon and on the link are and well, actually everything is empty because these are the default ones. You see?
Okay, can you check the content? So
Oh,
so you have to pass the content module.content in the vbind.
yeah, count.
I think.
Okay. Now we're talking. Okay.
Huh.
And also maybe we need to add a little bit of a gap here. To space it a little bit more. That looks even better. Okay, cool. The card maybe we can here in the flex justify center, but we can use it in no, in this one, no, in this one. Flex call. Okay, so item center. The flex call is probably for when you're in mobile, like this one. Yeah. That in mobile we will need to, in the grid, put, so this is gonna be like medium towards. That's how you create breakpoints in Tailwind. You here close one. I think it's like that, right? Yeah, okay, that looks good. Maybe some padding, right? Because the image here is too...
Yeah, exactly what I wanted to propose.
Okay. We can do it here. There are better ways of doing it, but let's do something that okay. Maybe it only in the X. Okay, or in the horizontal. What is not working, I see, is it's not a link. So what? Yeah.
Link.
So why is...
The link and the module name as well.
Okay, yeah, true. It's module card. Why? We're not passing the correct name. Component name. Because we're no, it's title. Okay. Props title.
It's probably because we are passing the whole module content and the title is module card and we have to use the name instead. And below you also have to change it because you're using it in the template.
Yeah, true.
The title.
So we need to change it here.
And change it to name.
Okay, now it's working. So we only need to...
It works. And the link.
Which is an object empty. Why is an object empty? Network. Stories, name, content, URL.
URL. It's URL.url.
Okay.
Instead.
So
URL and
here
I think in the module card you have to go URL.
Here, right? URL.
Instead of a link. Does it work?
Let's find out.
Yeah,
okay,
now it works.
Cool. Okay, it's a fair version of it, if we can call it like that. Of course, for example, there is a lot of things here, like I'm guessing that they are fetching it from GitHub directly, like how many stars, because I do the same in my portfolio. So this is similar. So it's working.
But it's fair enough.
Fair enough.
I would say.
Awesome.
So what is left here, I think, is the final step, which is to actually deploy it as the static site. And as you mentioned, we will go for the Vercel one to see how it works in more details. So if we want to, could you open the docs of Nuxt 3? We will show how because there are direct instructions on how to deploy the static sites. So if you go to guide, and there should be something
Deployment
like
preset and
static hosting. Yeah. I think right now we can focus on the static hosting. So we have already done the pre-rendering session or section. We have used the Nuxt generate to generate the static files. And we have also selected the SSR to false. And as you noticed, when we were generating the static files, there was a pop-up in the CLI that generation was successful, and right now we can deploy to any hosting the output/public, right? We can probably see it in a second here. By the way, the errors are probably caused by the fact that there is an autosave, and because of that, it was saving the file before you overall managed to finish like coding stuff. So yeah, this is another issue with the autosave. So yeah, you can see that you can now deploy the output public to any static hosting.
Okay. So for that,
so right now what we could
create
do
a repo, right?
Go on.
Yeah. Oh, here.
Yeah, that would be necessary to connect to external hosting providers like Netlify or Vercel. So we will push all of it.
We don't need to add something in git ignore, like.
I think we can remove the dist because for some reason it's not in the git ignore.
Okay, so this one that is generated, we don't push it to the. Okay, cool. So we can remove it from here actually.
But it's still there for some reason. Oh, okay, now it's not. Okay, now I think we can push it because there is the logo, there is a Storyblok.
So we're gonna create a public repository. Then you can check it out if you want. Afterward, we can set the link. Okay. So opening GitHub is created. That's nice. I love that integration that I don't need to create it by myself in GitHub. So if we go to Vercel and we do new project, we have this one here, import. So root directory, that's fine. Probably we will need to check here the build command, right? The settings here. So npm run build, that's not the one that we want. We want the generate, right?
Yeah, so we can go for npm run generate or npm or run generate, yarn generate, whichever suits you best. We can go for yarn because we were using it before. And the output directory will be exactly what was printed out by Nuxt during the process of generation. So .output.public.
And for the install, yarn install.
Yarn installed. Yeah.
We probably need.
And we'll also need an environment variable for Storyblok.
Okay, that is this super secret one here. So this is here and. Okay, perfect. Let's deploy. If it works the first time, this is the most lucky tutorial I ever done.
Yeah, that would be really, really nice if it would deploy by the first time.
Let's hope.
Fingers crossed.
But it was crazy. Like I felt like we spent way more time talking about the release candidate than actually doing the project.
Coding stuff.
I guess that's one of the beauty of Tailwind, right? Like you can prototype so fast. Oh look. No, it worked.
It worked. Nice one.
Let's go to the day.
First try.
Oh my god, you need to save this for posterity. It worked right away.
For the future generations.
Oh man, so good. So good. Nice. I'm gonna put some how do you say sound effects afterwards.
Confetti. The same as the Vercel is doing after each deploy.
That was a nice touch.
It's showing the confetti video.
Listen. So that's pretty much it for today. It was crazy how fast we managed to do it. I think it's just because Jacob is my guest and everything went smooth. Next things, like let us know what things do you would like to see in this section and in the channel itself. If you have any questions, we are going to put the repository link in the description. But you can contact us directly on our Twitter accounts. Can you refresh to the audience which one is yours? It's the one here, right? Jakub Andrzejewski.
Exactly, yeah. It's the Twitter. The GitHub is a bit different, but it's linked also in the Twitter. So if you have some questions, reach me on the Twitter. I'm quite active there, so I will for sure answer all questions and
if
ideas.
you want to try any of the other modules that we discussed in the video, even if we didn't implement them, just reach him. He's gonna answer everything we can. So don't forget to subscribe and drop a like and let us know if this new format was cool enough, if it was something that you would like to see more often in the channel. And really, Jacob, thanks you so much for being my first guest here. I could have had more honor. So thank you very much for being here. I had a blast.
Thanks for having me here. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really, really happy that we managed to build it on our first try. And it worked. It just it shows that we did a good job. And I'm glad for that. Thanks for having me here once again.
Thanks for reaching out. So from anyone, please follow him in Twitter and in GitHub to see more of his job, and see you in the next one.
Smile and add something for myself.
This is gonna be a blooper, you know? What else? Okay, hello everyone. Hola, I'm gonna repeat because that's not my intro.